Hello, 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 hello. Deep breath is needed. Like, I moved to Chicago. I know I made a video in Pennsylvania on my way to Chicago. And I'm so happy I'm here. Like, so happy. I've been here since 3 weeks ago, going on 4 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks. And it's been good, and I have no complaints. I think this video is really for a point of reference, for exposure, for release, for understanding, for peace, for data, so on and so forth. Because right now I'm in a position of nervous system overload. I know it doesn't look like it, but a lot of things have been happening pertaining towards my dad being out here. And knowing me, I know that that is one of, if not the most deepest of pains when it comes to the trauma I've experienced. And it's just been a lot, man. Like, when I tell you, God is good. First and foremost, God is good. The series of events have just been so much. Like, they've really just been so much. So, where should I start? First, I want to do something with this hair. Where should I start? Because I feel like since the most stimulating thing that's been happening is the information around my dad. So we'll start with that. When I got here, normally me and my sister, because right now I'm staying with my sister Tabitha. She's 2 months older than me. Right. Normally when we do get together, inevitably we end up talking about our dad. Like, that's the person that connects us. That's the reason why we know each other in the world. That's my sister. That's my sibling. So I think just our conversations, like, no matter how much we try not to focus on him, the focus leads to him in some shape or form, right? So when I got here, it wasn't like that was something that was like presently known in the forefront of my mind. So I'm not really necessarily thinking about like, oh, we're eventually going to talk about my dad. But of course, given the nature of our interactions and just our connection and attachment, we end up talking about our dad. And the first thing that kind of set me off, because I know we had talked about him when I was in Pennsylvania, and she gave me a little bit more context on the rapist allegations that everybody's running with, that I called him a rapist, and the verdict is, I mean, not the verdict, but that's what the whole family thinks, and that's the narrative that he's going with, that I called him a rapist. Although I've explained this way too many times, not that it needs explanation. I'm learning that now. trying to stay streamlined with this video because there is so many different things, but I really need to just get this out, record this, and you know, maybe someday, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we talked about him in the sense of me getting a little bit more information about that situation in Pennsylvania, which basically alluded to, he told her, like, I didn't know the context, like when he told her or how he told her, but he told her that I called the cops on him and the cops came to his house. And that's another reason that he basically like solidified the rapist allegations, that I called him a rapist. So I found this out in Pennsylvania. It triggered me. Yes, it did. But, you know, with the distance, with so many other things going on with my mom, like, it didn't affect me as much as it's affecting me right now. Even talking, like, I need to slow down. A lot is going on. So, yeah, she told me that he told her, don't know the scenario or the environment or the conditions of how he told her this information, but he told her that I called the cops. So like me recalling what happened in 2020, because again, we're in 2026. So the fact that I have to, well, I don't have to. This is what I'm learning. I don't need to explain myself. Like, at the end of the day, what I say is what I said. And it's not to be rude or inconsiderate of people's viewpoints, perspectives, or opinions, but I know me. So what I say is what I said. And she talking about how he told her that information. I recall back to 2020, and I'm like, yeah, I did call the cops. Absolutely called the cops, because he is an active and known woman beater. Period. So yes, I did call the cops in 2020 when I was forced out of my grandmother's house on my mother's side by my aunt, her big sister, and my cousin, my aunt's daughter. And then basically my grandmother coerced into it for some hospice comment that wasn't even true. Was I fabricating things with my grandmother for my leave? Yes, but I wasn't wishing death on her. Anyway, it's not the point. Not the point. Not the point, because I wasn't the best at 2020, but I'm also no longer going to accept this unrealistic guilt that a lot of people try to keep putting on me in this situation. So anyway, so yes, I did call the cops. One, because of that situation, the cops were called on me and I was forced out of my grandmother's house. And it was crazy how the cops were called on me because I wasn't even violent. Things did get violent before, but it wasn't because I was violent. It was a lot of different scenarios. I'll talk about that maybe another time. So yeah, I called the cops because I experienced that recently. What else was going on? Me and the guy that I was with at the time had just also got into altercation, and he called the cops on me to remove me from his house. Like, you see the pattern here? So I'm recognizing the trend that people are literally calling like, hey, I'm not saying that I was perfect. Disclosure, disclaimer, I'm not saying that I was perfect in these situations. Obviously I wasn't if the cops had to get called. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's a lot of underlying context and a whole story to both of those situations. But needless to say, yes, I did call the cops because I'm getting so many cop receptors in the situation of family and significant others and all this stuff. So yeah, me and my dad had a falling out. I needed to get my stuff from his house, so I called the cops for a police escort. Was I upset? Of course I'm upset. Why wouldn't I be upset if I have to go as far as call law enforcement to get my things out of my father's house in fear of my physical safety. And the reason why I feared for my physical safety and I called the cops, which I explained to my sister, which I did not have to explain to her, is because not only did he recently put his hands on his wife, but there was also information passed down to me that he put his hands on one of my sisters when she was underage. Like, so not in a parent beating a child, but like in a put his hands on her. And then recently I witnessed him putting his hands on his wife because not only did she tell me, she fled to her best friend's house with no shoes on in the snow while he stole her purse because he was accusing her of cheating because he's a known cheater. So again, I don't need to explain myself. However, I'm making this video as what I said it was in the beginning. So yeah, I called the cops and I let her know why I called the cops. And she's like, oh, that does make sense because you're right. He is a known active woman beater. So yeah. And if the cops assume that he raped me, if I told the cops that he raped me, wouldn't they have arrested him? I was expecting the cops to call me back, and maybe they did, and I just never responded. I don't know. But I was expecting them to call me back so I can meet them at the house to get my things. So, yes, I did call the cops, but not because I called my dad a rapist. So that spiraled me in Pennsylvania because as I'm even describing it now, it's so emotionally charged because not only is it a deep trauma wound, it's this false narrative that's being spread, and it's like both at the same time. So it's like false narrative, people lying on my character, my name, everything, and then it's deep daddy wound. He was never around to begin with. Now he's choosing not to be around from a false narrative. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot to process. That's a lot to deal with. But I'm pressing on because I'm 36. Like, I've been a soldier in this fight for a long time. And I'm used to some war tactics. And I was like, cool. Like, that's what y'all want to run with? Cool. Like, again, I'm not gonna defend my honor in the sense of getting out of character because y'all are trying to assassinate my character. Not worth it. Whatever. Now, I'm still on my way to Chicago though. And from the series of events, me and my sister agreed that like we were gonna move forward with living together, and we also agreed that me, since I don't have a place to stay anyway, me staying with her like on the couch until we do get our place together where I can have my own room would be like a good like trial run to see if it would work with us living together or whatever. So cool. I was like, that's understandable, and she agreed too because I presented her with the idea. And then in that time frame of us living together now, I'm in Chicago. I get another piece of information about him. And now she's providing me more context to the information she told me in Pennsylvania. So apparently, unbeknownst to me, in 2024, right before I went back to Pennsylvania to live with my mom to try to reconcile that relationship that didn't end well, I was with my sister. Her birthday's in January. We're 2 months apart. And we were gonna go to Michigan And I did make a video about how that didn't work out and how I felt about that. And I haven't watched it back, but you know, I was very like upset about what happened, but I'm also, you know, it was a learning experience with my sister. So we're not gonna go into that either. But yeah, so we in 2024 we went out for her birthday, and we took a picture. That was actually a really nice picture. I don't have it. I think she still has it, but it was a really nice picture. Like, I looked super cute, she looked gorgeous, and you know, we just looked like sisters. It was nice. It was a nice moment. Well, apparently she sent that picture to our father, and he went prisoner of war on her, talking about no, I refuse to have somebody in my life who will do this to me, try to do this to my character, try to lie on me, try to ruin my reputation, try to whatever the word is, what's the word? Defamation, like defamation of character, like all this stuff. Like, and I guess he opened up to her about what happened to me when I was 22, because another disclaimer, I used to cut myself. Like, through all of the complex traumas that I had, one of my coping mechanisms was cutting. It was a learned behavior. I learned it through an older cousin's friend. And something happened with me and my mom where I felt completely betrayed and abandoned. It was something that appeared to be small to her with the lack of attunement, but it was grand and monumental for me. And at 15, I started cutting myself. And that lasted for about 11 years. The last time I cut myself was in 2016. It's 2026. So in 2020, I was probably 4 years removed from cutting myself. However, I lived with my dad in 2012. And that's when he saw the cutting. So from 2012 to 2020, that's 8 years. Like, and then in 2024, when he told my sister and he was triggered by a picture of his daughter, so that's 2012 to 2024. That's 12 years. So he painted a picture of me, like the most recent time that I was living with him, which was in 2019, the end of 2018 to 2019. He painted a picture of me as though I was cutting myself in that time frame, like, because the way she was describing it was as such. Because I was just listening to the information. I was just taking in the information. That's what you do when information comes to you. You just listen and observe. So that's what I did. So I was like, oh, so it seems like he was making it seem like that was recent. That happened in 2012. So what are you talking about, something in 2024 that happened in 2012? The last time I cut myself that you don't even know about was in 2016. So, and I know that because that's why I got this tattoo. Count it all joy. So it's like, the fact that you would even fix your mouth to try to, again, assassinate my character. Like, this video is obviously helping me, like, also dissect what's actually going on, because it's like, dang, like, it's already bad enough that you haven't talked to me. At that time in 2024 was 4 years, because the last time we spoke was, what, July of 2020? So that at that time, it was probably 4 years, going on 4 years. And then prior to that, the last time I was actually cutting myself, that you even recognized it, because we went to a psychiatrist and he was going to admit me, but I begged him not to at 22 because I was scared. Like, I had no idea of the depths of the mental with me at 22. I'm 36 and I'm still unfolding the depths, okay? So 14 years ago, yes, absolutely. Like, no, I had no idea. So I begged him not to because I was scared. He agreed, but he was nervous because he had mentioned that to me already. So the fact that, like, in 2024 that picture triggered you, it was just like a spiraling moment, just like it is right now with me talking, because it's just like, when is enough for you? Like, when is enough for you to reject the very thing that you are? If I'm your daughter, why do you consistently reject me? Like, and I get it. I'm learning how to deal with this complex trauma, how to reprocess my brain and not going into these negative modes and all of that. So I'm making this video to be free and to admit where I'm stuck at, because I'm 36. He abandoned me in like 1992. For real, 1989. Like, so that's where I'm at with it. Like, dang, like, we still on this. Like, you still out here rejecting me, and then now it's gone into assassination of character because I cursed you out in 2020. And I wanted to curse you out. I'm not taking that back. What I regret and what I apologize for to this day is being disrespectful. But best believe I meant every word I said. Okay? So, like I said before, what I say is what I said. Okay? And yeah, I'm human. I mess up. I disrespect people. I overreact. I let my emotions to be masters and not servants. Like, I do. And that's what I tried to apologize for. That he rejected again with this rejection. Because I tried to apologize to him in 2021. Because I didn't want a whole year to go by without us talking. Because I knew how detrimental that was to me with my mom when I stopped talking to her for 9 months, when I was around 26, around when I got this tattoo. And the last time I cut myself. So yeah, like, I didn't want that to happen again. I had learned that it didn't go well with me and my mom. So let me not do that with me and my dad. So yeah, I'm writing him a letter. I'm writing everybody a letter. I wrote my aunt a letter. I wrote my grandma a letter. I wrote my cousin a letter. I wrote Erica a letter, his wife. I wrote my dad a letter. I wrote my sister a letter. I wrote, I wrote my cousin Renita a letter. I wrote like 8 letters. Okay. Straight to the point apologies though. Like, I wasn't trying to go too much in depth and too emotionally charged, because I didn't want it to come off as like I'm not sorry. Because again, I do have my reasoning and I do have my opinions. So I'm not apologizing because I don't think I'm right. I'm apologizing because I don't want this to go on with us not speaking. That's why I'm apologizing. Like, we could talk about agreeing to disagree all we want to in a civilized, healthy way. But I put it on the floor and I stand 10 toes down. And I'm so glad I'm able to do that now in 2026. It took about 5 years, but I stand 10 toes down with what happened in 2020 because I'm me. Like, I felt so much shame and guilt from everybody just saying F you and leaving me. Rightfully so. Like, I'm not saying I didn't deserve consequences, but falling on your face like that is a harsh realization, and it comes with a lot of questioning of your motives and your actions and so many different things, like if you truly want to heal. So yeah, I felt guilt for a long time, and only when things started unfolding again with me and my mom, after I'm like trying so hard to make it work, did I realize that like, no, like, I need to stop feeling guilty for other people's actions. Like, I take responsibility for my actions, and there's still more accountability and responsibility to take, because I'm pretty sure I'm missing some things. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the disrespect on both sides, I'm no longer tolerating. The mistreatment, the isolation, the ostracizing, the black sheep scapegoating, I'm no longer tolerating. That's what it is for me. But yeah, so going through the motions with that, of just like, when are you gonna stop rejecting me? Like, so she tells me that information. I'm upset, obviously, and I know I'm upset. I know very well I'm upset, and I'm going through the motions. You know, I'm not saying I'm the Teflon, like, or like some duck where water just rolled off me. Like, no, I'm treading water. Sometimes I'm going under, like going with the motion, the waves, all of that. So that was another thing that happened where I was just like, man, like, that sucks. Like, that's painful. That hurts. Like, that's what it is. It's not on no, oh, I don't need no man, and oh, no man ever gonna get that close to me where they can hurt me. And no, this is pure pain. This is pure agony. Like, my soul hurts. Like, I really want the people who are listening to this to understand, because I may be able to articulate myself and I may sound a certain way and I may sound intelligent, but I'm telling you, the post-traumatic stress of the abandonment and rejection of my father sends me back to like 2 years old, learning to brush my teeth with him and wishing that moment would never end and wondering why I can't get that moment again. So in a way, the fight or flight response is so young. It so doesn't understand very complex ideas and just situations. It doesn't understand, just like a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old doesn't understand where their father is. Like, that's what it is for me. Like, and I'm trying to get unstuck. I'm not trying to stay here, but I'm also trying to be honest of what's going on and how bad that hurts. Like, have you ever taken a toy from a child, magnify that with their parent, so they just love their parent? My mom always says, like, I don't understand why you care about somebody who never was in your life to begin with, because he's my dad. Like, everybody on a neurological level wants to know where they came from. And knowing that where I came from does not want me, oh my God! Like, especially for a deep thinker like me. Like, a deep thinker like me, oh, I'm doing some deep diving into myself, because obviously as a kid, you can't rationalize why someone wouldn't want to be around you because you're a child. Like, your whole existence depends on them caring for you. So obviously you don't understand, why are you leaving me out here in the wild to die? And for me, like, that's what it is. It's not because I want to be here. It's not because I want to be stuck. It's not because, you know, I just want to throw away everything that I've learned, gained, that God has given me. That's not it. It's just, it's tough. It's tough, especially when it gets super complicated like this. So now I'm already past my emotional threshold. Like, I was past my emotional threshold when my sister told me about the police thing. For real. I was past my emotional threshold when she told me about that. But regardless, like I said, I'm a warrior. And I'm just pushing through. I'm pushing through, and I'm standing on God's word. Here comes the Super Bowl. Good old Super Bowl. I tell my sister, hey, like, Super Bowl is like so like a big deal for me. I want to do it big. I want to dress in the Seahawks colors because I wanted them to win. Yada, 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 yada. So we're setting it up. We're planning it. We finally get to the day. We finally get to the spot. The spot we get to has two men who know my father. One of the men is my sister's stepfather, who is the father of her sister and was married to her mother for years. So it's like, so much. Okay? So he's there. I didn't even know it until the end. Thank God I didn't know it until the end, because the little bit of time I did talk to him, all the way down. And then this other guy who's a worker for my father, who just so happens to be a private failure and a public success. A very, very public success. So, you know, that also adds to the complexity of the trauma. And he's just ranting and raving about how my dad is a family man. He respects him. He never had no issues with him. He's a stand-up guy. Like, oh my gosh, you such and such daughter. Like, oh my gosh, you look just like him. Blah, blah, blah. Warning. Like, all this stuff I'm going through. I haven't talked to this man in 6 years. And y'all over here singing his praises? Oh my God. Like, oh my God. Just put me in a coffin. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and I was super triggered. So, me being me, I was just like, because the stepdad, he had, and this is another trigger of me, he was talking about how they were having kids young. And I don't have any kids. I'm not a parent. People tell me all the time, you'll never understand until you have kids. So I'm not going to speak on that. But I will speak on the trigger. The trigger told me that, when does responsibility and accountability become a real thing over we were kids having kids? Because at some point in time, there should be, or maybe not, because I'm not a parent. So again, I already said I wasn't going to speak on it, but I was triggered. So that's what I said in response to it. So it led to, I can see that you're hurt. I can see that you got a lot of hurt in your heart, blah, blah, blah. You know, the typical stuff people tell me. And unbeknownst to them or beknownst to them, it's very invalidating to a very real lived situation. So I get what people are saying, but just to hear what they were saying about me, oh, you such and such daughter from out of town. Wow. I'm that irrelevant on both sides, because just like I'm the long lost daughter on my mom's side, because I wasn't around that much once I left the house, like at 18. Same thing with my dad, because I wasn't around at all. So, oh, you are out of town. I'm just like, what are you saying? Like, what do you want in this situation? Because what you're saying, although you don't know what you're saying is hurtful, but it's very hurtful to be that forgotten person because you're out of town. Like, no kid should be forgotten because they're not in town. That's a life. So when Trayvon Martin died in Florida, guess what? I felt it wherever I was, in Pennsylvania or Illinois, whatever state I was in, I felt it. Like when Breonna Taylor died, she was in a different state, right? Than me, than so millions of other people. But what do? We rioted, we looted, we protested because her life mattered, right? So this whole out of town Keisha, do I matter? Hey, the jury is still out on that one for me. So yeah, I asked him that, and then I told him that we haven't talked for 6 years because of a misunderstanding and just a false accusation. Like, I did not call him a rapist. I know exactly what I said. And I didn't know what I said at first, which bothered me and added to the guilt. But once God allowed me to remember it, I was like, wow, yeah, that does sound like something I would say. And that wasn't me calling you a rapist. And then on top of that, no one, not even my dad, but no one asked for context. Like, so it was almost like people were at the gate ready to execute me. Like, the noose was already tied around my neck because nobody asked for context on why I said the metaphor that I did. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy to me. Because at the end of the day, like, I know why I was mad. I was mad because you made an offer for me to pay for something that you gave my brother for free. And then when I wasn't able to meet the offer that I foolishly, hopelessly devoted, blinded loyalty to you said, there's no reason why anybody should have to pay $3,500 for a vehicle more than like 15 years old from their own father, who gave the car to his son, her brother, for free. That's weird. And that's mistreatment. So I know why I was mad. That's why I was mad. And I told him about the whole situation, because when I said I'm going to give you $3,500, did I expect the pandemic to be the way it was? No. Did I expect the toxic relationship I was in to end the way that it did? No. Did I expect my family to be so mad that I was in a toxic relationship that they would physically put hands on me? No. But here we are. And you mad because I gave you $2,250 out of the $3,500 and didn't give you $1,250. And you talking about, oh, I was going to use that $3,500 for a work vehicle. First of all, that's how I know you're lying, dude, because I know you. Like, my dad's not hurting for cash. And even if he is hurting for cash, he can always go out there and get that, because that's what he is. Like, that's what he does. Like, he gets money, like, period, no matter what. So that $1,250, you're not missing that. Like, it's not about that. It's about you rejecting me again and being okay with that rejection, and me chasing you and lowering my worth over and over again, consistently self-betraying myself, self-erasing myself, because I am just so desperate for your validation. Like, get out of here with that. Like, get out of here with that. I know why I was mad. So I told him in the situation when he was like gunning me down for $1,250. I told him, I was like, listen, you're giving loan shark vibes. And it's weird because you're my dad. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic and you're giving loan shark vibes. And I know you're getting bread. Like, so what are we talking about? And even if you're not getting bread, you have the ability to get bread quickly. So what are we talking about? Like, $1,250? We're not talking about $1,250. We're talking about the fact that you don't want me in your life. And at any condition that does not fit you, oh, I'm up out of there. So that's what happened. And then I vented to my cousins. Unbeknownst to me, I shouldn't have did that, but I just vented to them. And I told them a metaphor of, so I called my dad a loan shark to his face. And then to my cousins, I said, you raped your daughter for money. So rape, obviously we all know what the word rape means, okay? We know what it means. My metaphor was the level of violation because of my brother, because of your treatment. Like, that's why I said that. But no questions were asked about the context. The only response that I got from one of my cousins, because the second one, they both screenshotted it like some females. Like, y'all got split hooves in between your legs. Like, both of them screenshotted it like some kitty cats. But one responded. The one that responded said, never that. What do you mean by that? Like, I'm coming to you as a cousin. Like, I get it. It puts you in an awkward position because I've done it to my cousin on my mom's side. So I get it. It puts you in an awkward position and you're just like, I'm not choosing sides, so I don't know why you're telling me this. Like, I get that. However, I'm searching for a witness. Like, I'm not looking for you to be neutral because I have been extremely violated time and time again. Like, my reaction, my response is warranted. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying anyone who puts up with that much violation to themselves is eventually going to crash out. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying I was right in the crash out. I'm saying it's understandable. So yeah, I sent them the message. They screenshotted it and sent it to my dad. Obviously, what I was saying to y'all, I would never say to my dad's face. Like, the stuff that I said to his face was probably like a 5 on level of disrespect. So it was still disrespectful. The stuff that I said to them was on level like 25 disrespectful. Like, so sending it to him is just like, bruh, why would you do that? Like, what? Are you dumb? So they send it to him. He doesn't even call me to talk to me. He calls his mama. Both of them are older than Methuselah, so they don't understand social media at all. So the 2 direct messages that I sent to my cousins, they're thinking I put that on a Facebook post. First of all, I sent them a Snapchat direct message, and everybody knows how Snapchat works. And second of all, I deleted my Facebook. So again, with the lying on my name, like, what are you talking about? Like, so that's why he cut me off. But that's not really why he cut me off. I busted up his bubble. I busted his bubble. And it's just easier to defy the truth than to break down the lie that you've been living. And it cost me false closeness, because it wasn't like I was close to him in a genuine way. We were close based on conditions, based on the condition that I act in a pristine way. I can't go too far left, I can't go too far right without being rejected by you, thus still being rejected by you, because I can't truly be myself. And then, you know, there was another thing that happened between me and his wife. But, you know, another thing about me, I just don't play. Like, one of the albums that was kind of a rite of passage for me growing up was Trap Music by T.I. And I remember in the song ASAP, which I loved that song. I loved that song ASAP. Like, and I didn't really know why, but now I know why, growing up and realizing like who my family really is. But like, yeah. And he said in that song, I don't know what you're gonna do for your respect, but I'm gonna die for mine. And at like 12, 13 years old, like, I felt that. Like, I felt that. And I don't know, it's just something about intelligence that it became my survival technique. Like, my wits about me, being smart, being observant, being self-aware, it helped me survive in a lot of situations and is a gift from God. So I think anytime my intelligence is played on, like, which it was with the whole car situation, and then how the car situation even got set up, because I ended up going like, I think like 2 weeks or a week without my plates, because my dad snail mailed me the title which was incorrectly signed by my brother, who was very coked out at the time, like not doped out. I'll say doped out because the coke was not his drug of choice, but doped out at the time. And yeah, like, and I flipped out on him too, because it was just like, dang, me and you actually had a connection too. Like, I remember when I was in Pennsylvania, and we were deep diving into some real stuff, and we connected on some real stuff. And I went to go see you in Norfolk multiple times with your girl before you even had kids. Like, we connected on some college stuff, and everybody who went to college knows a college connection is just like, it's one of the deepest connections you could ever have with a friend, because college is such a it's such a grand rite of passage in a way, because you're an adult, but you're not completely responsible, because you're from 18 to 22. So it's not like you're able to like drink or do other stuff like legally. And you're away from your parents. Like, everybody knows the connection is just connecting. So the fact that like we connected on a college level, and that's how you did me, like, I was just upset, because I was just like, I get it, you probably going through your own stuff, but as my brother, like, what sister cares? Like, at the end of the day, like, if my brother's wrong, I'm gonna let him know he wrong, like, whether he going through something or not, because who else is gonna hold you accountable, bruh? Like, so yeah, I said stuff about him too, because it's like, you all doped out repeating the same mistakes you saw, and we done already talked about overcoming. Like, what's up? Like, what's tea? Anyway, it's just crazy. So I'm just at my wit's end with it right now. I'm glad I got to talk a little bit about it, because even what I'm saying in this 46-minute video already, it's not even 5% of it. Like, and that's crazy when it comes to complex trauma, when it comes to emotional capacity, when it comes to an emotional threshold. Like, my threshold is overwhelmed right now. It's been overwhelmed so much that I'm supposed to be driving for Uber while I'm off work until I return back to work, when, you know, I get like a place to stay. And I couldn't even drive for Uber yesterday or today, because like my nervous system is in complete overload. Like, and I tried. I didn't try yesterday because I was like, let me take it easy. But I tried today, and I had to stop. Like, I had to hard stop, because my nervous system is just like, yo, like, we need time. And it's a lot. 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 And God is bigger than a lot. So I'm not completely like cast down or discouraged or anything like that. Like, I'm just hurt. Like, I'm just hurt. That's the only way I can describe these outbursts, these crashing 200-foot waves that are crashing in to the shore right now of my soul. Like, it's just pain. Like, it's just the rawest pain. And, you know, we're all gonna experience trauma at some point in our lives. It's an inevitable thing. Like, trouble is promised to us in the Word of God. Jesus said, like, in this world you will have trouble. Like, because this is just a lot. And I hope in making this video, it can come across as a victor and not a victim, because I was a victim as a child. Like, I was a victim, and I was abandoned, and I was not kept safe, and all of those things. But I'm victorious. Like, The Antoine Fisher, I need to watch that movie tonight. The Antoine Fisher scene when he's like, I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Like, I'm still standing. Like, you couldn't break me. And even if you take my life, my soul belongs to the Lord. And I'm not gonna bow down to Baal or Asherah, whatever that name is, worship. And I'm not gonna give in to a spirit of Absalom or Jezebel, even if it's relatable or I can draw understanding from why they did what they did. No, I'm more than a conqueror through Christ. So that's what makes everything so small, because Christ conquered it all. Like, his blood, him dying, he died for all sin. Like, in this sinful world, we all sinned. David sinned. Paul sinned. Like, I know we read, or sometimes I read the Bible, and the stories don't necessarily come off the paper immediately when you read it, because it's just so rich. It's just such a live book, like alive, like actually alive, like it's God breathed, like Yahweh, like it is the word of the Lord, and his word will never pass away. So I think it's important for me to keep in the forefront of my mind and just say it out loud. Keep going for that transformation. Keep going for the truth, the life, and the way. Like, keep going there. Because no matter what, the darkness will never extinguish the light. The light always shines in the darkness. And although these moments of trauma in this sinful world may hurt, may almost take us out, sometimes it does. Jesus died for it all. And it's all under the blood. I believe and I trust him. And that's what I'm going to keep doing, because none of this is his original intent. None of this is his original design. And if I'm going to believe in something, if I'm going to bet my life on something, I'm not going to do it halfway. And I'm just going to keep on keeping on through all of this. Oh, just rest. Take care of myself. Hopefully I can drive tomorrow, but God's gonna give me, he's gonna give me the strength when I need it. Like, obviously I don't need it right now. I need his rest. I need his peace. And that's what I'm just gonna do for the rest of the night. And yeah, I hope, my only hope is in Jesus.